This is Bill Parker with Parker Insurance and Realty, your locally owned and operated independent insurance agency. We specialize in home, auto, commercial, ATV, motorcycle, and boat insurance. Being an independent agency, we have the ability to find you the best price available to suit your insurance needs. At Parker Insurance and Realty, we can help you package your insurance or find the specialty insurance required to get you covered. We are your source for any real estate needs, whether buying or selling. We can help you. Give us a call today so we can discuss your insurance or real estate needs. Parker Insurance and Realty, 265 South Macon Street, 427-9345. That's 427-9345.
Are you thinking of selling your home or business? Hi, I'm Gloria, and as a realtor, I know that getting rid of the clutter in your home is one of the best ways to help sell your house quickly. At Jessup Premium Storage, our family-owned company provides a convenient and secure building for all of your storage needs. We now offer outdoor covered parking for that antique car, boat, or RV. Due to our recent expansion, we offer units that range in size from as small as a bedroom closet to as big as a one-car garage. All of our units are inside and climate controlled with 24-hour access and security. Our leases run month to month, so you're not locked into a long-term commitment, giving you the flexibility to move your belongings out the minute you purchase your new home. Stop by today or give us a call, 530-8003. That's 530-8003. Jessup Premium Storage.
They're cool, clean, and secure.
Does your car or truck need a paint job, body repair, or even a tow? Call the experts at Licensed Body Shop. Family owned and operated since 1978. With a courteous, knowledgeable, and professional staff will meet all your needs at Licensed Body Shop, where everybody is somebody. Call us today. Let us take the stress away. We are located at 1526 Rainier Road, just past the dollar store. Give us a call at 385-6193. That's 385-6193. Licensed Body Shop.
Are you thinking of selling your home or business? Hi, I'm Gloria, and as a realtor, I know that getting rid of the clutter in your home is one of the best ways to help sell your house quickly. At Jessup Premium Storage, our family-owned company provides a convenient and secure building for all of your storage needs. We now offer outdoor covered parking for that antique car, boat, or RV. Due to our recent expansion, we offer units that range in size from as small as a bedroom closet to as big as a one-car garage. All of our units are inside and climate controlled with 24-hour access and security. Our leases run month to month, so you're not locked into a long-term commitment, giving you the flexibility to move your belongings out the minute you purchase your new home. Stop by today or give us a call, 530-8003. That's 530-8003. Jessup Premium Storage.
They're cool, clean, and secure.
Well, good morning to you. You're listening to the Big Dog, WIFO-FM in Jessup, 105.5 on your FM dial. It is a Monday morning, the 12th day of September. Butch here with you early on this Monday morning. We're going to have mostly sunny skies today, a 40% chance of showers today. High today, right around 92. We do have a 60% chance of showers tomorrow and kind of cloudy tomorrow. The Ottawa River level is at 2.7 feet and falling, currently 71 degrees here in southeast Georgia. It is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Mike Birch Ford and Black Cheer, Jessup Premium Storage out here on the Waycross Highway, Sonic Restaurant on South 1st Street here in Jessup, by Parker Insurance and Realty on Macon Street in downtown Jessup, and by Lightsey's Body Shop on Rainier Road. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
So what's up? Anything going on with you? Exciting. But see, you got your Jaguars hat on today. They played a competitive game yesterday.
That was a good game. Had a good time. They could have won. Just
could have won, could have, should have, would have, but didn't.
I think the turnover early in the game was a decisive factor. So, but they played well. Still trying to figure out what happened to Chris Ivory. Wasn't there, inactive at the hospital. So I'm not sure if he's. Some reports said he had food poisoning. Some say he had an injury to his leg. So I'm not sure what the story is. It was hush-hush at the locker room.
What position does Chris play?
He's a running back.
Running back?
Free agent running back from the Jets. That was going to be the big bruise in the back.
The big bruise in the back, huh?
Wasn't nowhere to be found yesterday, so.
Couldn't be found, huh?
Trying to figure out what happened to him.
He wasn't laying on the beach out there anyway, was he?
No, he's in the hospital.
But they don't know. They're not saying what it is.
They're saying what it was.
Yeah, what it is, what it is. Well, hopefully he's okay, and we'll be back for this week's game. The Jaguars will be going on the road, all the way across the country to take on the San Diego Chargers in a late afternoon game. Man, got a fly the big bird all the way across the country there. And the Chargers, did they win or lose? They lost, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost in overtime. They had a huge lead, and Kansas City came storming
That's right.
back.
Kansas City came storming back. What a game that was. And the Atlanta Falcons, your assessment of that game with their loss against the Bucks?
Yeah. Jameis Winston had a huge day, and that's the problem. He just didn't win.
Do you think that it's like Jameson's kind of followed the steps of Cam Newton in terms of a big quarterback, successful early in his career, and that type of a quarterback? He's a big guy, just like Cam is.
Yeah, he put on a show yesterday in Atlanta, that's for sure.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And everybody's got to be proud of the Georgia Southern Eagles. You know what was going to happen in that game. They played against South Alabama, who defeated Mississippi State the week before, and come away with a very convincing victory over South Alabama.
I told you that Friday.
You told me that. I know you told me that.
17.
Yes, sir. You predicted that real well, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll give you credit for that. But there's concern there when South Alabama defeats an SEC team, and then you think it's going to be a close game there, but nope. The option there of Georgia Southern just kind of whipped up on South Alabama.
You haven't seen that Georgia Southern on. I mean, Georgia fans don't want to play Georgia Southern anymore.
They don't want to play anymore?
No, Florida doesn't. Teams like that, Appalachian State, you don't want to play that.
You don't play that option team if you don't get a good practice against it, huh?
It's hard to simulate if you don't know what's coming. But they run it extremely well.
Yeah. I remember when Bobby Bowden played Georgia Southern or something like that. Remember that? And he talked about, it's pretty simple, guys. You either stop the fullback or you stop the halfback or the quarterback. You put a guy on each one. It's pretty simple. But saying it's simple and actually stopping it sometimes are two different things.
It was hot yesterday at Jacksonville.
Yeah, it was.
The players were talking about after the game
it was hot.
How hot it was. I think the heat index on the field was like 110. So it was a good ball game, packed house.
Yeah, and here's a comment right here that I saw when I was watching the game with Georgia and what other team they defeated that barely. They barely beat a team, and that was so disappointing. That has hardly won any games. It's not like they're not like a Georgia Southern or App State or something like that. Here's a team that, they did get a new coach and everything, but they're a team that hasn't hardly won. Okay, they're not one of these powerhouse Division II type teams, and it's just so disappointing to watch Georgia play them and just barely win the game. But this is what I saw right here, and I was thinking to myself when I was watching the game, if Grayson would have been in there instead of Jason during the game. If it says Jason Eason needs a...
His name's Jacob, not Jason.
Oh.
It's Jacob
Eason needs a lot of work. Anytime you have 8 or 9 defenders in the box and you don't keep handing the ball off, Kirby should have pulled him early and let Grayson run the whole show. If you watch that game, you listen to some of the comments from the announcers on there, Jacob really has some work to do with experience, and maybe that's the reason why they put him into the game, to let him get that experience, because there was times that an experienced quarterback would have made a last minute or last second type of decision and done something different.
It is what it is. Jacob Eason's a 5-star quarterback, and that game was the game. If you're going to start him, you start him against a team like Nicholls State. But he struggled. The offense struggled. It was not pretty. But like Kirby said, the whole team played unenthusiastic. They just acted like you just walk out there and you're going to roll over Nicholls State. But Nicholls State had other ideas. But the pick 6 in the red zone was the real problem. I mean, coaches can't be happy about that. And the other thing, early in the game, they ran a play, and there's a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone, and he went to the check down guy, and you could see Kirby and the offense coordinator getting on him pretty good on the sidelines. And I love Matt Stinchcomb. I'm going to write him a thank you note. Finally, unbiased, objective reporter said, their play-by-play guy says, what do you think they're telling Jacob Easton? He says, well, they're probably telling, first of all, get rid of that headband. And second of all, how about hitting a wide-open receiver in the back of the end zone? I was like, thank you, Matt Stinchcomb.
Yeah, wide open out there.
Because everybody else was just, Easton. He is, somebody said the best it's about developing a quarterback.
Right.
And they need to be developed. I mean, he's not ready. This kid played at a private school, didn't play competition at a lot of other high school people, it's all potential, it's all whatever, but I think Kirby Smart again has another decision. But like I said, it wasn't all the quarterback. I mean, the whole team just didn't.
The whole team. The defense let them score that many points. How did they do that?
What was ironic to me, like I said, I'm a pro. I tell people all the time I'm the president of the Grayson Lambert fan club because I love Grayson Lambert. But when Grayson Lambert plays quarterback and the team struggles, it's all Grayson Lambert's fault. Mm-hmm. When Jacob Eason plays quarterback and the team struggles, it's the offensive line. The receivers can't get it. Well, these are the same linemen and receivers that Grayson Lambert had all last year.
So
I don't understand what the love affair is with you. It's really a non-love affair, like I said, but I tell people all the time, they never, if you listen and watch closely, they never say Grayson Lambert, hometown kid, Jessup, Georgia. It's always Grayson Lambert, the guy from Virginia, blah, blah, blah. It just drives me crazy. But
he's from the state of Georgia, folks. Jacob is not.
Grayson Lambert is a talented quarterback. He's a class act. He showed up last year, 5 weeks before the season, learned the entire playbook and won the starting job and won 10 games and didn't get to start in the 4th game. And we all know what happened after that. Mark Rick's no longer at Georgia.
Yeah, that fits. So
Kirby Smart comes in with this 5-star quarterback. And this is what I keep trying to remind people. If you follow this closely, Jacob Eason was recruited by Mark Rick. Mark Rick recruited Jacob Eason out of Washington. And when Mark Rick left, there was talk that Eason would go with him. So Kirby Smart had the pressure to keep him in fold, which is what he's supposed to do. He did. But there's a kid from Houston County named Jacob Fromm that Kirby Smart's been recruiting very, very heavily. Mm-hmm. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks in the state of Georgia. And believe me, watching him and watching Eason next year, mark it down, Jacob Fromm's going to be the starting quarterback, not Jacob Eason. So,
that's why the person mentioned on Friday in the text message there the fact that the quarterback from Houston County plays a lot tougher competition than Jacob did out there in Washington.
It's going to be interesting to see what Kirby does this week because he has another decision. But Kirby's learning that the love affair with the media is already over with because he's restricted media access to all these people. The media has not been able to talk to Jacob Eason. The media has not been able to talk to Grayson Lambert. The media has not able to talk to the offensive linemen. So there's a big article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution talking about they're not real happy with what Kirby's doing.
Is that what Saban does in Alabama?
I'm sure. Well, the difference between Saban and that's what I'm saying. Kirby Smart's a first-year head coach. Mm-hmm. Saban has a statue outside the stadium and has 3 national titles in his belt. He can do whatever he wants.
3 or 4.
3, whatever. He's got a power.
He's got a power.
He's God in Alabama. Okay, Saban runs the whole ship. Saban can get away with that. He can tell the media to do whatever, and they have to pretty much abide by what Saban. Kirby's a first-year head coach. This media in Atlanta is going to eat him alive by not getting the access that they're used to getting. Right. They want to talk to Easton. They want to talk to Lambert. They want to talk to offensive linemen. They want to They want to know inside the locker room what the sentiment of the players is. And Kirby's doing a good job of denying that access because I understand what he's trying to do. He doesn't want to start a battle inside. But Kirby's, you could just tell the media and him, the love affair after one game. It's just funny. Just remember, these are the games that got Mark Rick in trouble when you're supposed to blow out opponents that you don't blow out.
Right.
And it wasn't good. He gets a pass because it's only game 2 of the season. But you can just tell. And I tell people all the time, there's a lot of difference in being a head coach than an assistant coach.
A lot
of different. And you're in charge of a lot more things. You have to deal with the media on a daily basis. You have to handle the press conference. You have to everything. So it's just a lot going on right now.
All right, someone just texted in. Remember, folks, you've got questions or comments for us here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show or at any other time during the day. You can text us at 912-427-3711, 427-3711, our regular business and studio line text enable. Somebody just texted in, Grayson preserved the win. He made the plays he had to make to save the game.
Chip Towers even had to admit it, his article, the play that Grayson threw the first down play was a bad snap, and he basically made a great play and saved. It just was ironic. All the announcers are across the country are just crushing Kirby, saying, "Look, if you're going to play Easton as your starting quarterback, then why is not he in the game? It's 4 minutes to go in the game." To say,
Right.
But Kirby Smart and the coaching staff obviously saw that game was unraveling.
Right.
And the decisions that Easton was making were not the decisions that they wanted him to make. The pick down the red zone was a disaster. I mean, it was basically a pick six. They turned into a touchdown and got back to within. The Isaiah McKenzie, there were a lot of other things. Isaiah McKenzie's fumbled punt didn't help. I mean, but offensive line didn't run. But Nick Chubb, there was nowhere for him to go. Now, was that because the offensive line wasn't blocking, or was that because Easton wasn't doing the right?
I don't know what was going on there. I know that as soon as Chubb got the ball, he had defenders on him, but no blocking up front.
But it just, this anti-Grayson Lambert thing just drives me crazy, because I keep telling people, tell me what he's done wrong.
He hasn't done anything wrong.
Well, that's my point. He's got
one ball game.
Last year, he went
Tennessee last year.
10-2. His pass efficiency is 59%. He ranked fifth in the SEC quarterbacks with passing efficiency. He threw for almost 2,000 yards. His touchdown to interception ratio was 12-2. I don't know what they want the guy to do. The guy knows how to run the offense. He's a talented quarterback.
And he's from the state of Georgia.
And when they say, well, he lost his job at Virginia, well, guess what? The coach at Virginia who made that decision got fired. Let's tell that story.
Yeah.
Because he made a stupid decision. He benched the wrong quarterback. So but I don't know. Like I said, it's just, I guess it's like having a new car. Get a new car. You want to see a new car, drive a new car. But, the pressure was on to start Easton. Easton got to start. Everybody thought it was going to be a 62-3 blowout. And it turned out to be hold on and hang on and beat Nicholls State by 2.
Well, it's kind of like Clemson with Troy. I mean, both Clemson and Georgia dropped quite a bit in the polls this week.
Most analysts said if Georgia would have lost that game, it would have been the worst loss in collegiate history. It would have topped the Michigan-Appalachian State game.
Right.
They were a 49-point favorite.
Yeah, I know. They had never won anything hardly. They weren't an App State. They weren't a Georgia Southern. They were a team that hardly won anything.
They had played 5 teams at that level, and the average margin of victory was like 38. So it's not like they even competed against any other team.
Right. It's just a terrible
But they competed Saturday, I said. But Kirby Smart, to give him credit, he owned it. He said, look, it wasn't a Georgia performance. It wasn't what we expected. It wasn't, so he'll correct it and move on. But the question again all this week, which has been all summer, which is, who's going to be the quarterback?
Well, you better put Grayson in against Missouri on the road this week. You just got to do it. Got to do it.
I wouldn't bet on it. I'm just saying, I don't know what they're going to do.
They better put Grayson in and develop East a little bit more, because he just made some you can tell freshman mistakes out there, and that's against a team that's not good. Now, when they get out there in Missouri and play a team that's an SEC, a foe, and on the road like that, hostile environment, they better put Grayson in there. He's used to that kind of stuff. Clemson fell for number 2 to 5 for barely beating Troy, and Georgia goes all the way down. Let's clear which poll you're looking at, from 9 to 16, because of their barely victory over Nicholls State there.
That's a good place for Georgia. That's where they were preseason, just because they beat North. A lot of people said it after North Carolina game. Everybody got excited, but North Carolina, keep in mind, this is a team that gave up 600 yards rushing in the bowl game against Baylor last year to a backup quarterback. In fact, it was a receiver play quarterback. Their running defense is not very good, and Nick Chubb rolled out close to 300 yards, so they didn't have to do much there. But again, everybody got enamored with the big win against North Carolina, but it wasn't as big a win as you would expect. And now we're still with Nicholls State, so now it's just a big question mark again where this team goes. But I still think they've got the capability of winning the East. I think they can beat Tennessee at home. I think they can beat Florida and Jacksonville. Don't know if they can beat Ole Miss and Ole Miss. That's going to be the big test. They should be able to beat Missouri. Missouri's not that good in the SEC, but the first big test comes at Ole Miss. That's going to be a battle.
All right. Somebody just texted in, Easton may be great someday, but Lambert's great now. Put Easton on the bench and let him learn from Lambert.
I agree 110%, but that's me. Kirby Smart makes the decision. Like I said, I love Grayson Lambert. As I said, I argued all summer long with people that Grayson Lambert would start the North Carolina game, and everybody said, no, he's just going to start. But Grayson Lambert did start, and he played well. They won the game. And if he would have played against Nicholls State, I think would have been a better outcome than it was against Nicholls State. But I said Easton is a quarterback they have to develop.
He's talented. We all know that.
He's got a
Just has to be talented.
arm. Like I said, as a 5-star recruit out of high school. I mean, look, he was recruited all across the nation. Everybody wanted him. So Georgia's got him, but it just doesn't look like he's ready. That was the story. My people up in Athens, like I said, I got a few friends that cover the team. They told me, look, he's just not ready. And he doesn't know the playbook like he should. He doesn't make right decisions. The scrimmage just that, they keep saying none of the media were in there. Well, a friend of mine was in there, and they said he threw 3 picks in that scrimmage, and that's why Grayson wound up getting a start against North Carolina, because they did everything they possibly could do to let Easton start game 1 against North Carolina, and Kirby Smart, that offense coordinator, realized he's not ready to go up against North Carolina. So if he's going to start him, the Nicholls State game was the obvious choice to start him. I understand why they started him against Nicholls State. You think you get the kid, get his feet wet against an inferior opponent, Georgia should dominate the game. Well, it just didn't turn out that way. The longer the game went on, the uglier it got. And like I said, at the end of the game, you're like, oh my gosh, we got a possibility of losing to Nicholls State. So with 4 minutes to go, Kirby Smart says, we better get the 5th-year senior out there that knows how to run the offense.
It'd be kind of like Wade County losing baseball to one of the Savannah teams, I mean, that's how.
And that's why Kirby made that decision. I mean, they felt that game was slipping away, and Easton had just made the bad choice to throw the interception. And they said, look, if we want to hang on and win this ball game, we better get the 5th-year senior out there who knows how to run our offense. And like I said, experienced. And he made the play of the game. Chip Towers, who's been his biggest critic, even had to admit that the play of the game was the 3rd and 7 that Grayson threw for the first time. And if you go back and look at that play, it was a bad snap. It was on the opposite side of where it should have been, and Grayson had his heads up enough to reach down and pick up the low snap and still deliver the ball for the first time, and that saved the game. They ran out the clock and got out of there with a 2-point victory.
Oh, Nicholls State! Oh God! All right, somebody just texted in. People forget that Grayson holds an NCAA record for completion percentage against an SEC team that will possibly never be broken. Of course, that was last year.
Exactly. Again, and then that was the 3rd game of the season last year. He was on campus a month, has 2 Georgia records and 1 NCAA record. Like I said, they probably won't. And like I told people, you know how long they've been playing NCAA college football? Who owns that record? Grayson Lambert.
But Jessup, Wayne County,
will probably never be broken.
And they want to put some freshmen in there. I don't understand it.
But the Atlanta media has never been enamored with Grayson Lambert. They criticize him, and they just, because he's not flashy. He's not, he's just a steady quarterback who runs the offense, knows the playbook, gets you in the right read, make sure the play doesn't run out. I remember after the press conference after the North Carolina game, when Easton did play, they tried again to get, tell us how great Easton is. And the first question, was, well, tell us about Easton. What do you think about him? And the first words out of Kirby Smart was, he cost me a timeout. He wasn't happy because he doesn't watch the play clock, and he cost him a timeout. So, like they said last night, it's about developing a quarterback. He is not ready for.
He's not ready. You can tell that against Nicholls. So he is not ready. Just some of the mistakes that he made during that game.
Smart, and the coaching staff is smart enough to realize that. And I'm like you. I expect sometime this week to make the decision. Grayson gets to start at Missouri.
I sure hope so.
And I'll be surprised if it's not that decision.
All right. Well, Georgia on the road this week, taking on Missouri out there. And then, of course, the Georgia Southern Eagles at home. One of their very few home games this year, taking on ULM this Saturday. 6 o'clock kickoff. We'll have that coverage for you. Start at 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. Georgia Southern hosting ULM there at Possum Stadium in Statesboro.
One good note for Wayne County this past weekend. I don't know if people saw the Jacksonville State LSU game, but Kendrick Sanders, who transferred from Wisconsin to Jacksonville State, got a 70-yard touchdown pass in that ball game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so happy for that.
That is good.
Little slanting pass, 5 yards, and he outran the secondary for a touchdown. So. Congratulations to him. It's nice to see him. I mean, he just transferred, and I'm sure he's having a hard time getting adjusted, but it looks like he's one of their starting receivers, and anytime you catch a touchdown pass, and that's something he'll remember for the rest of his life. Kind of like
They play in Jacksonville State. Who they
LSU.
LSU, right?
Lindsey Scott had a 99-yard touchdown return in the second half against LSU. Now Sanders has a 7-yard touchdown. So that's pretty good stuff. Yeah. Okay. But congratulations, Kendrick Sanders.
Did you see who's the comedian that does the little skits there on the NFL Fox show?
Rickleman.
Did you see him?
No, I missed it. I saw it. They had it up there on the screen, but they didn't have the sound. But he did the Jimmy Garoppolo. But
yeah, kind of like the Shakespeare thing, the play type thing. It was really good.
It looked funny.
It was funny.
I couldn't get the sound, so I have to look it on the website. I'm sure they got it on YouTube. Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
But that's the best part of that Fox Sports. I mean, he does a great job every week. I mean, that's what I look forward to when I watch Fox Sports Sunday.
Yeah, me too.
That comedian skit. Yeah. He does a good job.
He did a good job. And I like it when the like Howie and Jimmy and Terry and all them kind of let loose a little bit and joke with each other. That's also really good. And they were out in the heat yesterday at Houston, and they were sweating like I don't know what on that field.
Like he picked the Redskins to win, so I didn't like that. Redskins play Pittsburgh tonight. So.
Oh, okay. So tonight's Monday Night Football game is?
They've got 2 games tonight. They got Pittsburgh at Washington, the first game, and then the late game is San Francisco and the Rams.
Okay.
So there's a game.
So the Rams are playing in LA now, right?
Right.
I mean, they're playing what, at the Coliseum there?
Right.
Okay, before they get their stadium built?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 2 Monday night games tonight.
2 Monday night games. Two Monday night games?
First one's Pittsburgh at Washington.
Okay. Well, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets won over Mercer. I didn't really get to hear much of that game, did you?
I just saw where Tech rolled a pile of yards on the ground, 5 rushing touchdowns.
Okay. And Georgia Tech will be taking on Vanderbilt this week in Atlanta at Grant Field. We'll be giving away tickets away this week, so get ready to win those tickets to the Georgia Tech Vanderbilt game this week in Atlanta. And let's see here, anything else I need to talk about here. And, of course, the Wayne County Yellow Jackets, 2 big home games coming up. Appling County coming in this Friday night, and then Pierce County coming in the following week. Just big rivals coming in the next 2 weeks here at JC Stadium.
Yeah, it's going to be fun Friday night. I said Appling just moved up to number 10 in the rankings in their classification after they beat Dodge. Dodge had been previous ranked in the 10th, but Appling takes their spot as Appling beat Dodge this past Friday. So
okay, ought to be a big game. All right, Bob. Anything else? All right, have a good day. All right, the world-famous Butcher Bob Show brought to you by Lassie's Body Shop on Reindeer Road here in Jessup, by Parker Insurance and Realty on Macon Street in downtown Jessup across from the Heritage Bank, by Sonic Restaurant on South 1st Street in Jessup. Stop on by right now for a great breakfast. Also brought to you by Jessup Premium Storage out here in the Waycross Highway, and by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear.